Welcome, everyone. We are very excited to be up here and share with you our presentation, and in the end, really just share with you our passion, something that we've enjoyed analyzing and creating, and something that we absolutely love. So in 2021, the Ultimate Frisbee Association made a groundbreaking move by launching the sport's first comprehensive and standardized data collection initiative. Since then, the volume of data has grown significantly, yet little work has been done to realize its full potential. As professional players in the league, we saw a unique opportunity to change that. In our work, we pioneered the use of machine learning in Ultimate Frisbee to introduce advanced metrics that more accurately assess player contributions and strategic decisions.
In 2023, we competed in the semifinal game against the Minnesota Windchill, and the game came down to the wire, facing a must-score point in the final seconds to send the game into overtime.
Joe Clutton is out there for height purposes. Salt Lake needs to score. Jordan Kerr with 11 seconds, back for Jorgensen. Chad Jorgensen launches a backhand toward the end zone. This is going to be the game. Joe Clutton battling for position. He tips it to the end zone where it's caught by Elijah Jaime at the buzzer to tie the game. Incredible awareness from Clutton, and we've got overtime tonight.
Ultimate Frisbee is a dynamic sport that combines the spatial awareness of soccer, the cutting and precision of football, the playmaking of basketball, and the intensity of hockey. Players can't run with the disc and must throw within 7 seconds, creating a fast pace and tactical style of play. This unique blend of athleticism and strategy has driven Ultimate's growth in recent years, leading to partnerships with major brands like Fox Sports and DraftKings, the establishment of multiple professional leagues, and an expanded youth presence.
Ultimate Frisbee analytics is still in its infancy, with only a single decade-old published paper. Currently, we rely heavily on basic stats like goals, assists, and turnovers to assess player performance. However, these offer only a limited view of true impact. Our work aims to push the boundaries of this approach, going beyond traditional metrics to apply more sophisticated machine learning-based methods that better capture the nuances of player contributions and decision-making.
The rapid growth of data in Ultimate Frisbee presents an exciting opportunity for groundbreaking innovation, particularly when you consider the depth and scale of the data now available. Our data set spans 600 games and 327,000 throws, nearly 10 times larger than any prior work. The scale and diversity of this data allows us to unlock new insights into gameplay dynamics.
We build 2 fundamental models that analyze the tactical and the positional aspects of Ultimate. From these models, we derive metrics that fall into 3 categories: throw assessment, player contributions, and gameplay optimization. We begin with the completion probability, or CP model. Factoring in thrower and receiver position, throw type, and game context, we estimate the likelihood that a throw will be successful. The plot on the left visualizes CP across the field when the thrower starts a possession at the center with 11 minutes left in the first quarter of a tied game. Blue areas represent high probabilities of completion, while red indicates lower chances.
While the completion probability model measures the likelihood of a pass being completed, we also want to understand how much each throw impacts a team's ability to score. Similar to other sports, getting closer to the end zone results in a higher probability of scoring. Additionally, lateral field positioning impacts scoring potential, which makes an interesting interaction with proximity to the end zone. This visualization shows field value across the field, which shows how the widespread high scoring probability emphasizes the importance of possession in Ultimate Frisbee.
With our models in place to estimate key elements of the game, we can now use them to craft metrics that provide deeper insights into player performance. To begin, we focus on thrower ability, where raw completion percentage is the standard. However, this metric fails to capture the full complexity of an individual's performance. To address this, we introduced 2 new metrics based on our CP model: expected completion probability, or XCP, and completion probability over expected, or CPOE. XCP is the direct output of our CP model, reporting the likelihood of a successful throw. Even more revealing is CPOE, which compares expected to actual completion rates, giving a more accurate assessment of a thrower's ability by by accounting for the difficulty of their throws. Similar metrics are widely used in the NFL, where XCP and CPOE are applied to evaluate quarterbacks' passing efficiency.
Player contribution in Ultimate Frisbee is typically assessed using raw metrics like throwing and receiving yards. However, these traditional statistics overlook the true complexity of the throw by focusing solely on raw yardage without considering the game context. To provide a more comprehensive measure, we introduce expected contribution, or EC. EC quantifies how much each throw contributes to a team's ability to score. For a completion, EC is the difference between the field value at the end of the throw and the field value at the start of the throw. On a turnover, the EC is represented by the field value of the opponent, the negative field value of the opponent, representing the opponent's opportunity to score on a turnover. To further this metric, we normalize expected contribution, and we called it adjusted expected contribution. We divide expected contribution by the minimum field value at the start of the possession, which makes adjusted expected contribution relatively equivalent to goals and assists.
Our final metric, expected throw value, or ETV, measures a throw's strategic value by balancing risk and reward. The first term evaluates the positive impact by multiplying the completion probability, XCP, by the field value at the end of the throw, FVE. The second term quantifies the risk by multiplying the turnover probability, 1 minus XCP, by the field value of the opponent's FVO, reflecting the potential cost of a turnover. ETV thus provides a comprehensive assessment of a throw, considering both scoring probability and strategic risk.
Beyond these formulas, these metrics reveal meaningful patterns that shape player evaluation and team dynamics. By focusing on the strategic value of a player's actions, expected contribution and adjusted expected contribution highlight hidden talent and elite performers. With over 80% of the top 10 players in the 2024 season earning all UFA honors, and the top 5 player seasons identifying 3 MVP podium winners.
The integration of expected completion probability and completion probability over expected introduces a comprehensive approach to evaluating thrower performance. XCP reveals the expected success rate of a throw, while CPOE shows how much a player exceeds or falls short of those expectations. In addition to measuring thrower ability, these metrics also allow us to identify player tendencies and define roles more accurately. Take Matt Guccio-Hannes and Jonathan Nethercutt, 2 world-class throwers with distinct styles. Guccio-Hannes consistently makes reliable, low-risk passes reflected in his high XCP, while Nethercutt embraces a more aggressive, high-risk approach evident in his lower XCP. However, both players demonstrate high CPOE values, showcasing an ability to exceed expectations in their respective roles. These metrics are the first to independently distinguish between the difficulty of throw selection and the execution of those throws.
These charts visualize expected throw value across the field, with the black dot representing the thrower location and the color gradient indicating risks and rewards. When analyzing end zone proximity, ETV shows how far a team can reset backwards without losing its advantage. Under time pressure, in the middle plot, it highlights the highest value throws in order to maximize scoring potential. And when trapped on the sideline, on the right, it identifies viable attacking space while exposing risky options. By quantifying both success probability and failure consequences, ETV provides a data-driven framework for optimizing throw selection and decision-making.
To further evaluate the factors shaping expected throw value, we use SHAP values to quantify the influence of features such as throw distance, time remaining, and thrower position. A positive SHAP value indicates a contribution to a higher ETV, revealing key trends that offer actionable insights. Throws between 10 and 30 yards yield the highest ETV, fatigue and time pressure influence decisions, and high yardage throws are most efficient when taken from the center of the field.
To conclude, we created 2 new models, the completion probability model and the field value model, and had five metrics come out of that. The expected completion probability and completion probability over expected from the completion probability model, expected contribution and adjusted expected contribution coming from the field value model, and expected throw value, which comes from both the completion probability and field value models.
At the player level, ETV can help athletes spot inefficiencies and make better decisions by assessing scoring probability alongside risks. For coaches, metrics like XCP and CPOE inform throw success rates and play styles, guiding player positioning, lineup optimizations, and personnel adjustments.
On a broader scale, these metrics can reshape the league and the broadcasts. We've had recent discussions in the past few months with league personnel who are interested in applying these metrics to broadcasts and to online platforms in order to deepen fan engagement.
By integrating these metrics across all levels, from the field to the broadcast booth, we can drive smarter gameplay, stronger team management, and a richer overall understanding of Ultimate Frisbee.
Finally, we want to acknowledge Dr. Nathan Sandholtz, who wasn't able to be here today, and also the UFA and the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference for their support of this project. Thanks.
All right, test. Okay, there we go. Great job, guys. Just one question for me. So just want to make sure that the data that you guys got was from 2021 up into 2023, correct? Okay, there are 23 teams, I believe, that's in this league, and I believe the league has been in existence since 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
I think, so at first it was broken down mainly with the metrics with goals, assists, and turnovers, correct? Mm-hmm. I really like the 2 metrics that you added. My only question is, how does that equate to wins? Because, again, you guys did a great job breaking things down to where how it ended up being effective for the player, or players plural, but any idea to where how it equated to wins? Like, let's say, for example, if you had like 3 players on a team, you know, that happen to have like a completion probability over expected, that happen to be like in the top 10. Just curious to know, like, do you have any idea, like, if that equated to that certain team having like a lot of wins as opposed to teams that may have had players with lower metrics from that particular standpoint?
That's an excellent question. We haven't done any analysis to like see the correlations between some of our metrics and actual wins. As players, we obviously know a lot of the people, and so whenever we create a new metric, we went through several iterations of lots of these, and so whenever we would come up with one, we'd make sure that the top players were, in fact, the people we'd expect to see there, the people who we know are the best throwers, who have won championships in the past, and obviously when you look at our expected contribution, you see all those all UFA honors, a lot of those players are on the teams that have the most wins. So as far as the eye test goes, it passes it very well, but we haven't done any statistical analysis in that regard.
All right, thank you. And again, really good job.
Thank you.
This is really cool because it reminds me of my old glory days doing football stuff and EPA, so I love it. But in that regard, did you like your expected scoring model? You're doing current team possession, probability of score. So I think one lesson from football would be include the probability of opponent team score. So your gradient of score probability across the field is actually steeper than you think because if you use net goals instead of just positive current team goals. I think you'll get some more interesting results. The question though I have is you in your ETV metric, you use both the completion probability element and the field position value. But I'm worried that you're double counting because the field position value already has this gradient of depth. Like the longer the throw, right, the more, if it's caught, the more valuable that is. And the completion percentage operates in the same regard. Like distance is a big component of that, I'm sure. So you're sort of double counting the distance gained. So just want you guys to comment on that. Yeah,
that's a good question. First of all, you're right. EPA was a big inspiration for using these. I think that was really helpful. A peek behind the curtain is we actually did iterate together a lot on the ETV metric. And you make a really good point. There's a lot of issues with including both of those because it double counts some things. And when we finished on it, we realized that this metric does a really good job at pinpointing areas that are typically better strategically to go to, but we're not as good at indicating the value of like it doesn't, when you attribute ETV to a single player, it doesn't, because it double counts like that, it doesn't actually work as well as you would like, but as a strategic metric, it makes sense and it highlights the areas of like extreme risk and extreme reward in Ultimate. So you made a really good point there.
I agree. I thought this was super interesting and really clearly presented. So really, really great job. Two quick questions. One is, the model relies pretty heavily on the field value, since that appears in all the feature metrics. That field value, is that the probability scoring on the next event, or do you do the whole Markov chain of any series of events, the likelihood of scoring?
It's the likelihood of scoring on that entire point. So it includes any number of possessions that could happen or time running out. It's if you have the disc right here, what is the likelihood that your team will score that point before time runs out, basically?
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Super nice. And then on that fabulous video you showed it in the beginning with the example, did you run your model on that to figure out what was the probability of that happening?
We should have. We
should have. Yeah.